Hi everybody, welcome to Big Fish, Little Fish on a Thursday. And yes, he is back. Not Craig Thompson, he's back every week. Craig, good morning to you.
Morning to you, Michael. Isn't it good to be having back? He's been off the scene for a year and he hasn't had a public appearance. He hasn't been in the trials. He hasn't been in the workouts. But we know he's good enough to win first up, Michael. And he's opened up $5. I refer to You May Collect, who's on his way, hopefully, to a New Zealand Cup start.
Yeah, the pride of Southland, You May Collect. 8 starts, 7 career wins. You might think he hasn't raced too many good horses. Well, when he won at Addington last winter, the one before this, he beat Classy Brigade, who ran in a New Zealand Cup placing, and Triple H, who ran an Auckland Cup placing. He's awfully good. Now, Craig, you mentioned $5.50. That's his price. He opened it with a tab. He's in race 10 today, just after 5 o'clock. Craig, the reason for that price, Kirsten Barclay came out on Twitter this week and said, hey, look, we're going to drive this horse cold. Doesn't mean he can't win, Craig, but he's going to need to be awfully good, particularly as Spirit of St. Louis, I thought, ran some pretty good sectionals at Addington last up.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. I think the bookmakers are trying to entice you into it because he is a favourite horse of a lot of people down south. And they may even sentimentally back him more on the fact that they're hopeful that he's going to win more than he's tied down to being a winner. As I said, he's had no trials or workouts to get him ready for this race. I think he will benefit a lot from it. And I think that gives a tactical advantage to a horse like Spirit of St. Louis because he's had 3 or 4 runs back. It was pretty good, self-assured. That was his real true test against the New Zealand Cup horses, and his sectionals were outstanding. So I think this week I'd be leaning towards him, Michael, and the bookmakers have framed him up for favourite.
Yeah, I can't see any reason why you can't back Spirit of St. Louis and cover at $5.50 on You May Collect, because you'd hate to see him go around $5.50 and you've had your 100 on one of them and not had your 20 on the other. So that's what I would do if I was betting seriously into the race. But great to see them back. Great to see the Deep South having real chances in the Cup, which is on November 10th, now sponsored by IRT. Craig, a horse you tipped on this show last week, Big Fish, Little Fish, who I watched the race because you tipped it, and I thought he looked about 5 kilos too big to me before the race. I think he'll tighten up. He's in race 9 today. Get Lucky. I thought he was in the right race, Craig, and I thought he would be fitter, and that for that reason, he'll probably win.
Yeah, he's a horse, Michael, that certainly suggests he's up to getting to open class level at some stage. And the young junior driver will pick up the drive tomorrow in the form of Oliver Kite. Now, the reason they put him on, obviously, to chase a penalty-free win. When you become a 5-year-old trotter and you get up in the grades, it's hard to get one free, and they're taking the opportunity here and on putting a young fellow on to give him a chance to get a nice one on a really good trotter. And I think, Michael, with 2 runs under his belt now, really there's no excuses for him tomorrow. He should go pretty close.
Mate, a rarity with Winton on today and Cambridge starting early tonight. They actually dovetail into each other, so there's quite a bit of crossover. The first at Cambridge goes before You May Collect races at Winton. What do you like down south to get us that sort of bank build up for the weekend? Because it's a pretty big weekend, of course, with the grass track racing starting on Sunday.
Yeah, Michael, it's actually a really good day at Winton. They've got a strong card. The undercard's very good. The maiden races I've found the last 3 or 4 weeks have thrown up some really nice maidens. There's one in there tomorrow in the last called RK Finn. He really impressed me the other day. He qualified behind a horse called the High Roller, which we highlighted last week on Big Fish, Little Fish. And he's a pretty serious racehorse trained by Brent Gray. This one with Craig Ferguson, actually pretty well bred. He's out of a mare called Eilish Finn. Got barrier 2. The bookmakers put up $5.50. I thought that was well overs. He's moving as we're talking, Michael. He's into about $4.60 at the moment. I think he'll tighten up short of that, close to race time. So nice bet in the last RK Finn. And another first starter going around earlier in the day, Terry Schmill's obviously taken a couple south with Memphis, Tennessee in the big race, but he's got a maiden going around in race number 5 called Kowai Magic. And I really like the way it trialled the other day. It's actually a half-brother to Pembroke Benny of Barry Purdens from a way back. This one by Art Major. Big filly she is too, and she's $3.30. I thought it was a fair price for her. I think the big track will really suit her over the mile. So both of them at nice each-way prices.
Mate, great to have such a quality card at Winton today. Join us later on this afternoon on harnessracingnewzealand.co.nz as we preview Cambridge coming up tonight.